What I'm going to talk about are the basic building blocks which you can start using right away. And these are not something new or different, but these are something that you have been using already, and how all of that and how those existing components can chart your path towards utilizing cloud, whether it is in the form of a private cloud or whether it is in the form of a public cloud infrastructure. As business wants more and more agility, we have seen that the costs are moving from fixed costs to variable costs. At the same time, you have seen that the hardware platforms are moving from proprietary to more standardized infrastructure today. Standardized in the sense that you see a lot more x86 commodity hardware being utilized in the infrastructures, thereby lowering the cost. In terms of variable cost, you see a lot more virtualization being used, wherein you can't actually put a fixed cost to virtualization. It essentially depends upon how much you are using and how much you've spent. Some of the challenges that you as CIOs face today: more and more services need to be provisioned, and they need to be provisioned much more quickly. Things are going virtual. Virtualization is increasing day by day in almost every infrastructure. Some customers use it on a small scale, some use it in a much larger manner. Budgets are shrinking. We've seen feedback from customers saying we have to do much more with a lot less that we have in terms of budgets. And then there is the cloud that needs to be tackled. So the challenge is, how do we reduce risk or how do we increase security, reduce risk, and ensure that your compliance or you support the compliance activities? How do you respond to the increasing demands of new access points while maintaining control or levels of control over the infrastructure? How do you support the revenue objectives and maintain levels of services? And lastly, how do you, while utilizing the cloud infrastructure, ensure that you are able to extend your internal policies to the public cloud or the services that you consume from the public cloud? The question over here is, where do your corporate credentials reside? Should they reside within your own infrastructure? Should they reside with a third party? Or do you find a mechanism wherein your credentials, while residing within your infrastructure, can still be utilized for accessing third-party services? So essentially it all boils down to, if you see all of these, this is essentially a transformation circle. And it's a continuous transformation. You have new things coming today, you will have new things coming tomorrow, and this will continue going on. So where do you stand? The question today is, what do you need from all the capabilities, all the new technologies that are available? So you've seen the evolution of the operating system over the past few years. Earlier you had application dependency on operating systems, so you had to go for a particular operating systems. Nowadays, essentially, the operating system is being slowly replaced by the hypervisor. You have some of the OS capabilities getting built into the chips themselves. Then you have the hypervisor sitting on top of it. And the operating system is more or less getting commoditized, wherein it doesn't matter whether you're running Linux or Windows. What matters is what services you're running on top of it, or what application frameworks you're running on top of it, because that is what you are finally consuming. So essentially, the two layers that you are looking at now are the hypervisor, the virtualization layer, and the application framework sitting on top of it. The OS essentially more or less is getting commoditized. You don't care whether it's running on Linux or whether it's running on Windows. And specifically when you look at the cloud, you wouldn't even know what operating system it's actually running on. How the workloads are evolving as the role of the OS gets redefined. We are looking at three primary software stacks. The .NET based stack, which would reside on the Windows platform. Then you have the Java based stack, which can work on both Windows and Linux. And then you have the cloud computing stack, which is not yet very well defined, but is still in the process of evolution. On the other hand, today we're still integrating the applications. You're getting the infrastructure, you're deploying the operating system, then you're deploying the applications on top of it, and provisioning them and providing them to your users for consumption. In future, what's going to happen is that this entire process is going to get integrated, and what you would be dealing with would more or less be software appliances rather than operating systems and applications in an individual fashion. What this would also help is things will become much more portable. So you have software appliances available that can be moved across, that can be deployed in a private cloud, that can be deployed in a public cloud, or moved from private to public and vice versa. And they will be platform agnostic if this movement of the workload from various infrastructures or from one infrastructure to another has to be done, then they have to become platform agnostic as well. That is what's going to happen more and more going forward. So some of the important components that come into picture here are the operating system. Yes, it's going to become irrelevant, but the relevance of these operating systems, and particularly Linux, is that it's kind of a de facto operating system for the cloud. And if you look at the applications also, more and more applications are available for the Linux platform than for any other platform. So what essentially this means is most of the times your applications, whether you're consuming it in the public cloud and more in the private infrastructure space as well, applications are getting deployed on Linux. And once you're using Linux as the operating system, because of its affinity for various virtualization technologies and also its readiness for the various public cloud infrastructures, it would become easy for you to move your workload from your own private cloud into a public cloud infrastructure very, very easily. And the advantage with operating systems like SUSE Linux Enterprise Server is that you can use it as a cloud platform to develop your own internal private cloud. You can also use it as a cloud guest because it works equally well on all hypervisor technologies, whether it is VMware, whether it is Xen, whether it is KVM, whether it is Hyper-V. It can be deployed across all these hypervisor technologies. It also comes built in with Xen and KVM as the virtualization technologies, which can be used to build up your own internal cloud infrastructure. And it is ready today, available in the Amazon EC2 cloud, so you can actually go and provision a workload or a service running on SUSE Linux Enterprise Server in the Amazon EC2 cloud. One of the ways of doing that is SUSE Studio. As I mentioned, going forward, instead of having to deal with OS applications individually, you would more or less be dealing with appliances. And one way of creating a software appliance is a tool called SUSE Studio, which is available online. What this allows you to do is, for example, if you have an application which needs to be deployed repeatedly or on multiple servers, the normal process is you install the operating system, you install the application, configure the application, test it, and then roll it out into production. Now, if you have to do this work repeatedly, it's going to consume a lot of your time. What SUSE Studio allows you to do is do this process once, you get the operating system, get the application, create a pre-installed or deployable image which is ready to be deployed either in a virtualization environment, on a physical hardware, or straight into the public cloud. You can do this once, and then you can deploy this image as many number of times as you want, or on as many servers or as many instances as you want. So that's going to reduce your time, plus that's going to maintain consistency as well. What you've done once, you need not do it again. And it has the capability to directly create an image and straight away deploy into the Amazon EC2 cloud. This capability is available as of today. Any one of you can go to susestudio.com, use your Google, Yahoo email ID to create a login or log into the website, create the appliance, deploy it to the Amazon EC2 cloud. Very straightforward. And you do not need any technical skills to be able to create this appliance. I mean, it could be as simple as saying, okay, here's the operating system, this is the database that I want to use, just create a database server for me, and it will create.